The 99% of all species that ever lived are gone. Why? A mass extinctions are Earth's brutal, yet necessary, reset buttons. These events clear the board, allowing new evolutionary chapters to begin. While we will explore the 5 great resets and the rise of mammals. The first major reset occurred deep in the early Paleozoic era. Away one, the sudden removal of ecological dominators. When giants fall, the world needs new occupants for those roles. This creates vacant niches, waiting for opportunistic survivors to fill them. The Permian extinction, the greatest loss, cleared 90% of marine life. And now that we understand niche vacancy, let's explore specialization. A way to adaptive radiation accelerates into new forms. Can survivors utilize unused potential, rapidly diversifying their traits? But this radiation fills the gaps left by extinction faster than normal. Think of the explosion of life following the demise of the great reptiles. Our small, adaptable mammals were perfectly poised for this rapid shift. They survived because they were small, generalized, and often nocturnal. Now that we understand radiation, let's explore resource release. Wave 3 extinction liberates vast amounts of essential resources. Fewer mouths mean fewer consumers competing for the same primary production. Energy flows more freely up the food chain, fueling rapid growth. This resource boom allows traits that were previously too costly to evolve. Evolutionary trade-offs shift dramatically in favor of size and complexity. Consider the second extinction, the one that nearly wiped out all complex life. A massive volcanic activity caused global climate collapse, a true bottleneck. And now that we understand resource release, let's examine genetic bottlenecks. Wave 4 genetic bottlenecks drastically reduce initial variation. So only a tiny subset of genes makes it through the filter. This limits the starting material for all future evolutionary innovation. Our future evolution must innovate using only these restricted, inherited tools. But this forces a new path, prioritizing robustness over complexity, initially. The KP event, wiping out the non-avian dinosaurs, is the most famous example. Suddenly, the selective pressures that favored massive size vanished instantly. Now that we understand bottlenecks, let's see how traits shift. Wave 5. The nature of competition fundamentally changes post-disaster. Pre-extinction competition favored the specialized apex predator or giant herbivore. Post-extinction success favored generalized body plans and high reproductive rates. The ability to utilize varied environments became the ultimate survival advantage. Traits like warm-bloodedness, which were costly before, now become essential. Even the oceans saw profound restructuring after the great marine collapses. But new lineages of large predators eventually arose from the surviving small forms. The KPG boundary represents the shift from reptile rule to mammal dominance. Every large mammal today traces its lineage back to these tiny survivors. They exploited the sudden opportunity for gigantism in a reptile-free world. But geological factors often compound the biological crisis, exacerbating the filtering. The ability to persist in marginal conditions proved more valuable than specialized advantage. At the fifth extinction, the event defining our recent past, was no different. It reset the evolutionary trajectory, favoring traits that allowed for rapid terrestrial colonization. The constant threat of extinction ensures that evolution remains opportunistic. And each collapse strips away complexity, preparing the stage for the next wave. The oceans, too, faced cycles of near-total annihilation and subsequent rebirth. The deep sea often preserved life when surface conditions became unlivable. These resets underscore evolution's inherent instability and incredible resilience. For the evolutionary biologist, these gaps are laboratories of possibility. And the key takeaway is that extinction forces novel combinations of traits. The world we inhabit today is the direct result of these 5 ancient purges. Without the end of the dinosaurs, primates might never have achieved dominance. Therefore, their success was guaranteed only by the failure of their predecessors. In these catastrophic moments are evolutionary accelerators, not just endpoints. Understanding deep history teaches us that stability is merely temporary. And what resets the board next remains the greatest unanswered question.